For I was sent here to the world of the evil within too with wrath, and I define the fear that is upcoming to me. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome back to... I'm not gonna call it the second episode of The Evil Within 2. This is gonna be just a small episode where I talk about the plot of The Evil Within 1, because it's an important one. This is not that type of the game where the story isn't connected. This is the game where the story is interestingly connected, and you need to understand what happened in the first one in order to transition to the second one, which takes place 3 years later. So without further ado, I leave you with the plot of The Evil Within 1. While investigating the scene of a gruesome mass murder at Beacon Mental Hospital, Crimson City Police Detective Sebastian Castellanos, his partner Joseph Oder, and Junior Detective Julie Kidman find themselves suddenly thrown into an unreal world after hearing a high-pitched noise. Shortly after this occurs, Sebastian is separated from his partners and is forced to flee from a notorious man wielding a chainsaw. Upon reuniting with his colleagues, Crimson City is destroyed and rearranged by a massive earthquake. Sebastian wanders through the unnatural forest and abandoned buildings full of monstrous creatures, and witnesses the apparition of a disfigured man in a white hood, trapped into the nightmare world. Sebastian encounters one of Beacon's doctors, Marcelo Jimenez, who is searching for his patient, Leslie Withers. Jimenez identifies the hooded stranger stalking them as Ruvik. Elsewhere, Kidman is being forced to relive memories of her indoctrination into an organization known as Mobius. It is revealed that Kidman is actually an undercover agent sent by Mobius to retrieve Leslie from Jimenez, apparently as leverage to force Jimenez to continue working for them. Jimenez had been working with Mobius on a project known as STEM, a machine capable of uniting minds into one, with one influence in mind at its center. Jimenez activated STEM without Mobius's permission, signed by a high-pitched noise, but Mobius anticipated this and trained Kidman to navigate the STEM world and retrieve Leslie. Sebastian learns of the story of Ruvik, born Ruben Victoriano, through various memories that Ruvik places him in. Ruben was an intellectually gifted but mentally unstable child and was close to his sister, Laura. While playing in a barn on their family's estate, Laura was killed and Ruben severely burned after the barn was set on fire as an act of revenge against their parents. Ruben's father began hiding him in the basement of the family manor. Deeply traumatized over Laura's death, Ruben eventually killed both of his parents, took control of their fortune, and continued to donate money to the Beacon Mental Hospital in exchange for test subjects for his experiments into the human psyche. Ruvik began designing STEM as a means for him to reshape reality so that he could physically travel back into his memories and live a life again with Laura. Jimenez then took notice of Ruvik's work and revealed it to Mobius, who wished to use it for their own purposes. However, with the machine only being calibrated to work with Ruvik as its center, Mobius were forced to use Ruvik's brain after killing him. which allowed Ruvik to maintain control of the STEM world. Kidman realizes that Mobius, in fact, wants to make Leslie as a replacement for Ruvik's brain, an easily manipulated blank state mind, which they can use to power STEM and create a world of their own design. When Dr. Jimenez, aided by Sebastian, tries to use Leslie to return to reality, he realizes that Ruvik wants to transfer his mind to compatible host and escape into the real world. A beast created from Ruvik's subconscious then kills Jimenez, and Ruvik scatters the group across his mind. Kidman finds Leslie first and is about to shoot him to prevent Ruvik from using him as a host, when Sebastian and Joseph intervene, prompting her to shoot Joseph. Before Ruvik separates them again, Kidman tries desperately to turn against Mobius, but realizes that she has been given a serum that allowed Mobius to travel into STEM world with her. Sebastian finds Leslie and guides him back to the hospital at the top of the lighthouse. He sees his own body in a bathtub hooked into the STEM machine. Kidman arrives and attempts to convince Sebastian that Leslie has to die. Ruvik interrupts them, gets hold of Leslie, and absorbs him. Sebastian battles a gigantic creature from Ruvik's subconscious and defeats it, waking up in the bathtub. He pulls himself off the machine, removes Ruvik's brain from the STEM, and crushes it with a mighty foot. He wakes up in the tub again, with Kidman by his side, monitoring him, and Joseph, who is unconscious in a second tub next to him. Kidman motions to Sebastian to stay quiet. Sebastian falls unconscious and later wakes up again in the same tub, with no one around except for the bodies of Jimenez and Connolly. A police and SWAT reinforcements arrive. Sebastian exits the hospital and notices Leslie walking out of the main gates. Sebastian has a brief headache, a great sign of Ruvik's influence on the subject within the STEM, which causes him to lose sight of Leslie. It is implied that Ruvik has returned to the real world and is able to influence those who were connected to his machine, intending to take revenge on the organization that betrayed him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the entire story, condensed of course, of the first Evil Within Evil Within and its DLC. Fast forward 3 years, and we are a drunk, washed up ex-cop who is trying to find his life in the bottom of a bottle of wine or whiskey or whatever, and Kidman just appears from nowhere and tells Sebastian that his daughter is alive. Sebastian tells her that he's been trying to find her for 3 years now, in vain, and she tells him again that his daughter is still breathing and she is the subject of a new STEM by Mobius. Which brings me to the point. I guess she lost her battle against Mobius, she was captured and indoctrinated again, or is she trying to work with Mobius in order to destroy them? Now that is the real question. What are Kidman's intentions right now? I am interested in Kidman, I've told this before, and I intend to find out what the deal is behind. So here we are, going through another world created by Mobius yet again, the world that has gone horribly wrong yet again, and we're trying to rescue people, and we're trying to find our daughter, and undoubtedly we will probably find Ruvik, and undoubtedly we will find a lot of monsters.